Okay, so I just got back from fighting some demons and stuff. Oh, just all this stuff is so tough. Anyway, in all seriousness, what I'm here for is another book review. But what am I reviewing this time? The Chronicles of Nick. This is the first book, Infinity. And Nick was just about to head back to the club when he heard a strange sound coming out of the alley. It sounded like a dog. No, it was the same sound he'd heard outside of Kyrion's house earlier. The sounds of zombies hunting him. Yeah, you heard me. Zombies. I mean, come on, zombies, they're so cliche now. But zombies are only the big picture of the first book in the series. Anyone know how many books there are? Well, here's two. Invincible. Death clapped the tall one on the shoulder. Nick, meet my two companions, Pain and Suffering. Pain was the big one and Suffering the smaller of the two. You'll have to ignore Suffering since he's mute. Mute? You should always suffer in silence. Nick would laugh, but he was afraid Pain might hit him for it, and since he was Pain, best to have him be... Nice meeting you two. He looked around nervously. Oh, wait, I hear my mom calling. I better go see what she needs. He turned to leave only to find that his legs were locked again. Death sauntered over to stand in front of him. Don't play coy, Kajin. We don't like that. Yeah, and he didn't like being stuck in the kitchen with ghouls either. Sometimes you just didn't get what you wanted. But if you were thinking there was only two, Infamous will make you a liar. Go to school, get good grades, stay out of trouble. That's the mandate for most kids. But Nick Gaucher isn't the average teenager. He's a boy with a destiny not even he fully understands. And his first mandate is to stay alive while everyone, even his own father, tries to kill him. He's learned to annihilate zombies and raise the dead, divinations and clairvoyance, so why is he learning to drive and keep his girlfriend so dang hard? But that isn't his primary skill he has to master. Survival is. And in order to survive, his next lesson makes all others pale in comparison. He's on the brink of becoming either the greatest hero mankind has ever known, or the one who ends the world. With enemies new and old gathering forces, he will have to call on every part of himself to fight, or he'll lose everyone he cares about. Even himself. Yeah, that's a bit tricky. I mean, his father's trying to kill him. Everyone's trying to kill him, pretty much. So he's got two protectors, the two main co-characters. But if you thought 3 was done, well then, this will heat things up for you. As Inferno is the 4th installment. Are you planning to take your seat anytime in the near future, Mr. Gaucher? Or should I start class while you gape blankly in the center of the room? His classmates laughed. Nick turned to glare at Grim over his shoulder. The famed Reaper stood before his whiteboard, where he'd written Mr. Grimly. Yeah, you are whacked, Grim. Totally. Only Nick saw Grim's true form, that of a handsome blonde man in his mid-20s. Heck, he even saw Grim's scythe that was secured with a strap across the creature's back. To the rest of the room's occupants, including Nakota and Caleb, Grim appeared as an average, chubby, middle-aged man in a cheap brown suit. Nakota's his girlfriend, and Caleb's his best friend, protector, pet type thing. Yeah, it's a bit weird, but yeah, Grim was his substitute teacher that day. Mr. Grimley seems like a very enticing teacher, I guess. I don't know. And if you thought you were done at 4, well then you're only eluding yourself, as Illusion is the 5th installment. And Tabitha cocked her head as she studied him with unsettling scrutiny. So, what are you, exactly? How you mean? She approached him slowly until she had him pinned between her and Amanda. You look human, but... She took a lock of his hair between her fingers and studied it. I know you're not the undead. You're blonde. Yet, you're not a demon, maybe. To his shock, Amanda leaned forward and smelled him. Stepping away, Nick screwed his face up at her. Hey, that's gross. Amanda shook her head. Can't be demon spawn. He lacks their stench. Yeah, well, I did have my bi-weekly bath this morning. Amanda gave him a dry stare. You still haven't answered my sister's question. What are you? Mostly confused and honestly, a lot scared. Karma laughed. At least he's not stupid. Shaking her head, Tiana snorted. Karma and Tabby don't bleed him until we know what we're dealing with. His blood could be potent. 'Cause let's face it, things are only sent into alternate realities for one of two reasons. To hide, Amanda said. Tabitha folded her arms over her chest as she eyed him with an unsettling intensity. Or to be killed in a realm where they are weak. Yeah, so in this one he gets put into a different Nick's alternate life. One that isn't as tall as him and is blonde. He didn't like the fact that he wasn't 6'4", 6'1", one of the two. He wasn't 6 foot anymore. He was my height. Yeah, welcome to my world. Welcome to the life of being 5'9", 10. It's not that bad, honestly. And if you were thinking you were done at 5, well then, if the back of the books haven't already showed you that these book series aren't ending anytime soon, because there's Instinct, Ambrose. Nick flinched at the unfamiliar voice in his head. Well, crap. Unknown voice in his head were never a good sign, especially when they wanted his undivided attention. And as fast as it started, it ended. Like a sped-up video file, everything around him caught up to real time. He was back at his school in his hallway with Caleb, Brianna, Coda, and LaShonda staring at him. Nick? He opened his mouth to respond to Cody and couldn't. Again, he had that surreal feeling as everything in the hallway slowed down to a crawl. Suddenly, he heard the strange, eerie drumming of hooves rushing toward him. The sound of a horse screeching, it drowned out all other high school noises. Against his will, Nick turned into the hallway to see a rider in white noises. Against his... I already read that. And white, billowing robes racing down the north hall on the back of a black horse as it passed through the students and faculty. Snorting fire in the horse's eyes were blood red. Yeah, that's always a good sign. Blood red, horse eyes. The rider held a set of old-fashioned scales in its hand. Ambrose. The voice was neither male or female. It was strictly demonic and cold. Without pausing, it came straight at him in a dead run. Unable to move, Nick was frozen as a horse and a rider man threw him and left him completely breathless and cold. Nick! Blinking at Cody, he shook his head to clear his vision as the main doors were blown open by the rider only he could see. Not even Cody or Caleb had detected it. They stared at him with duplicate frowns. How was that possible? They always saw things like that when he did. Usually before he did. He opened his mouth to answer Cody at the same time the bell rang. What the... Nick blinked. He glanced around at everyone in the hallway. They were now scrambling to get to their rooms. He had 15 minutes until class, a heartbeat ago. Hadn't he? Yeah, so that's Instinct. This is the 6th book in the series, and unfortunately, it was also the smallest book in the series at like 340. If I could get to it. Oh no, my bad. It's 349 or 352 or 351 was it? Yeah, it's 351 if you include that block. But yeah, that's the shortest book in the series, unfortunately, and it was also the last one to come out because the next one comes out next year in April. April of 2016, I'm pretty sure. Don't know the actual date, but yeah, whatever. This book series is amazing. Otherwise, I wouldn't own all of them. Like this is masterful. This is beautiful. Woo! My cousin Pete gave my mom the first one, or my mom gave him the... No, my mom got the first one because it's Sherilyn Kenyon, and she does the, oh, goddamn. What is it? The Dark Hunter series. Yeah, that's what it was. I didn't even have to look. Oh, I was started, but I didn't have to, eventually. But yeah, she writes the Dark Hunter series, which is a really great series that I would read if I wasn't so damn far into it. Like, that series has been going on for way before I was born. I mean, really, It was a lot. It was like over 30, I think. Somewhere around 30. It's close to 30. It's getting to 30, if not at 30. But yeah, we got it, and so she gave it to Pete after I read it. And I remember, because I was reading this book series, and I remember like the main popular song playing on the radio at the time was Usher, something DJ. I honestly can't remember. But it was that, and it always reminded me, because I don't know, I always thought it would go good with the zombie. And the first book is zombie theme. Well, she gave it away. And she gave it to Pete to keep. Because she didn't think I liked it, or she didn't think I would like it. But I loved it. Yeah, otherwise I wouldn't have Instinct, Illusion, Infamous, Inferno, Invincible. And I wouldn't re-own Infinity. And the only reason I re-own Infinity is because a friend gave it to me. But yeah, Instinct was the shortest book, and that made me sad. Illusion was probably the weirdest one, but it's got my favorite cover. I don't know why, it just is. If you haven't caught on to a theme, they all start with I. In my opinion, I remember quite a bit of Illusion. I remember quite a bit of Instinct, and it's been a while since I read these. Inferno, I don't remember much of, other than the fact that his dad plays a main part in this book. The whole dad trying to kill him kind of culminates in Inferno. Infamous, I remember a lot of, because all Infamous really doesn't pertain to the main story, really. As far as the whole main story goes, it really doesn't. It's not a really big focus. Like, really, the big thing about Infamous is a whole school fiasco thing that they have to settle. Because somebody was posting leaked nudes of their classmates and putting it as the background on their school's teachers' laptops or their teachers' computers. So when they go to show stuff on the projector, oh, there's a naked student. That's awkward. And then they have to figure out who's behind it and why they're behind it. And it turns out there was a demon involved. Go figure. Invincible. I really don't remember. Like, I almost remember nothing from this book, other than the fact that this is when Dakota comes into play. That, and it's red, which is my favorite color, which makes you wonder why I don't recognize or don't remember anything about this book. I remember somewhat about this book, but not a lot. Like, I think this whole book is about, I don't know, but it's something to do with Dakota. And Infinity is the beginning of it all. And I got this from a friend of mine. I wonder if you can tell who. Yeah, she kind of drew on it a lot. But yeah, she sat behind me in English. But actually, I had English with her in junior year and senior year, which was weird. But yeah, I had her in English junior year, and then senior year she sat behind me in English for a majority of the year, and she was one of my only. Okay, I had her, I had Wyatt, and I had some others. But her and Wyatt were about my only two good friends in that class. And I remember I had her, I think it was also American history. And she had this book. That or I got this book in English. I don't know. Wait, oh, now I remember. It was when I was getting Bo into the series. It had to be junior year then. Yeah, it was junior year. It had to have been. It had to have been American history then, because she sat behind me in that class for a while too. She always sat near me. Because, again, in that class, I had her, I had Bo, obviously, my best friend, and I had Noah Griffiths. I had some other people, too, but they were about it in that class. And I remember because Cam Bruzy made me walk from one side of the classroom all the way to the other, because I had him back to back. I had I had world history and then American history, and I sat on this side of the room, I sat on the right side of the room, and world history, and then during American history, I sat against the window on the other side of the room. Yeah, the other two boys who had that class back to back, they had the same seat. I'm starting to think Karen Bruzy didn't like me that much. Larry thought it was fat, and decided to, make me work out. Yeah, I'm pretty fat, totally. I need all the workout I can get. And my stomach's like 5 miles wide. I can't even see my feet anymore. Pretty much looked like that my whole life. So yeah, I'm about maybe 10 pounds heavier from when I was junior year. Oh crap, dude. But yeah, and then I saw that she had the book, and I was like, holy shit, you have this book. I was like, dude, can I have it? Because she was talking about how she didn't want it anymore. Or she couldn't keep up with it anymore because like the books came out over and over and over. Or like too many books come out since then, and she just didn't want to keep up with it anymore. So I was like, I lost that book. Because she saw me with one of them. And then she brought this book so Bo could borrow it. And then when Bo borrowed it, he gave it to me because I asked for it, and she was giving it to me. So she gave it to Bo. Bo read it, and then Bo gave it to me because she gave it to me to keep. And so that's why this is one. I think the original copy I had, the one my mom got, it was paperback. I'm pretty sure. But now I have it in hardback thanks to Aaron. Thank you, Aaron. Because if I ever wanted to reread this book, which I am thinking about doing, because I don't remember much of this book or the second book. I remember the third book pretty well, and I remember the fifth book pretty decent too, because I actually enjoy that thing of being sent to an alternate reality and all that stuff. It strikes my fancy. And then Instinct, I remember pretty damn well too, because it was very, very plot relevant. Like, it was like the most plot relevant book she's written, and it was the shortest one. And it was the last one I read. And I read that, it's like, ugh. Probably during the summer. Because I got it at the end of junior year because that's when it came out, I think. No. Now I know when. I read it when I got into my book craze again. Like when I started reading a lot of books, I read Instinct first because Instinct was on my top 2 read. Because none of Rick Riordan books had come out and all that stuff, so. What else am I going to do? I'm going to read that. But yeah. Nick's the main character, and this book series takes place in New Orleans. His mother's name is Charisse. Pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. And, well, let's just say she fell in love with the demon, or the demon fell in love with her. Either way, she had a baby. He was the product, and she couldn't part with him. And bad things happen when this certain demon has a kid. Either the father kills the son so he doesn't take over, or the son gets all the powers once he kills the dad, or the dad passes away. Point is, it's a story of only one can live in the end. So if you're a loving father, be prepared to die. If you're a selfish father, well then that son's got to go. And this guy was selfish-ish. No. He was selfish, yet in a long time. Okay, the demon that's in the story, because it's mentioned pretty early on, is the Malachi. And if I'm correct, his father Adrian was the first Malachi in years to even show some kind of a heart. Like, he was still a heartless bastard, but he had a soft spot for Nick's mom. So that's what I mean. That was his weak spot. Charisse was his weak spot. If you went after Charisse, odds are he would come find you and kick your ass and protect her. But it is what it is. And then there's Nick and his girlfriend Dakota. And their relationship's a bit weird because she was sent back in time to kill him. Yeah, I don't know what it is about dating a future girl who went back in time, who's your age, but in all reality, during your time, she's not even born yet. I don't know what the laws are about that, but she's his age when she went back in time to kill him. And then she found out he had a heart, so she's like, okay. And then she fell in love with him, and now they're dating. But yeah, I don't know how that whole works. Like, she's technically not even born in his time. They're dating, and she's not even a thought yet in his time. I don't know a lot about that. And then you have Caleb. Like I said, he was the Malachite. His dad captured Caleb, and I'm pretty sure he bound him to some kind of thing. So now Caleb's pretty much his undying servant until he's freed or dead. Yeah, and so Adrian sent Caleb after Nick, not after him, but to protect him and whatnot for some odd reason. No, I don't think it was to protect him, but to watch him and protect him, because I think he wanted to kill Nick or something like that. I don't know. It's been a really long time. And it was probably in one of those books that I don't really remember, one of the three. 'Cause I remember this book. I remember some parts of this book, not a lot, but I remember some parts, and I vaguely remember the ending scene. I don't remember almost anything in Invincible, and I remember the end of Inferno, but nothing in the beginning or the middle. And I remember a lot of Illusion and a lot of Instinct and Infamous. And Infamous is the only one I have in paperback. Weird. That I remember so well. And the fact that I don't remember Invincible at all. But, you know, this review has gone on long enough. Yeah, it's at like 21 minutes. Hope you all have a great day. Remember, only you can be the best you can possibly be. And ta-ta for now.